How you doing, guys? So I am down here in Camden, Tennessee. We just finished Andrew's patrolling the Homestead class. We're going to kind of talk about our experiences, a little bit of a debrief. There's going to be a more detailed AAR later on, but this is just when I want to get out there fast while it's still fresh in my brain, coming right at you. All right, guys. So here we are in Camden, Tennessee. We have who?
Andrew from Combat Art Training.
And
Lewis, instructor with Tactical Response.
so I am blessed to be standing in between a ridiculous amount of hours of training experience. Like I do, like these are my friends, my brothers. My bags are packed for them. But I am humbled by the fact that the amount of training hours these two fuckers have is dwarfs. Hopefully, at some point in time, I will be able to have as much training time as these two guys have. So off the start, I just want to lay that out there. So, we just took patrolling the homestead. Why don't you describe the class to my listeners?
Okay, so Patrolling the Homestead is a patrolling class that was taken from infantry tactics that I was using in the Marine Corps. I also take Jay Gibson, who is a tactical response instructor. He also owns Prelectus Training.
And we're going to stop hitting the table.
What's that?
And we're going to stop hitting the table. But keep going.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was only hitting it about half as hard as you were hitting.
Because I was like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so
These all make great shorts. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Or
It's
you'll
all
just
good.
see the whole thing, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. With something sandpapery.
Ooh, sandpaper. That's nice. There's a boom mic right here. If you have a problem, I could bring it to your house, and I could, electronically inject it into you. Go ahead.
he's a real good student besides all of that you just saw. Anyways, so Patrolling the Homestead is a patrolling class. It was taken from infantry tactics we use in the Marine Corps. There's publications you can read and all that, but it's adopted into the sense of you are not in the military. You've got your group of people that you secure your homestead with, and there's no one coming to save you. So we look at the military tactics, we simplify them because there's a lot of stuff in those publications and stuff that we do in different schools that we don't actually do in real life. And so
And maybe things you shouldn't do in real life.
yeah, and try to make it a lot simpler, easier to control, and when we have to make fast decisions, we can make them effectively, and everyone's going to fall in correctly. So there's stuff like planning the patrol, conducting the patrol, doing security halts, keeping formations, changing directions, using hand and arm signals, and then not using too many hand and arm signals. Reactions to ambushes, setting up ambushes, but in the sense of we don't want to lose a single person. We don't want a single person to even get hurt because then we have to carry him back and we're, down one guy who could potentially be fetching water, chopping firewood, and staying awake at night.
And I mean, we had in our class, we had some people that had a lot of experience. And we had one guy who was 18 years old who had never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
And everyone got through class, and everyone got something from class. I don't think that there's any experience level that you have that you wouldn't get something from this from, because even if you've done all this in real life, this is working with a different group of people. Like, you have to adjust what you're doing. You have to adjust your speed. You have to do all these things because the idea of this class is that you have your homestead or you have your group of people, whether it's a church or whatever it is, and you have to go out into the wild, wild west world and come back safely and come back whole.
So the sense of it is kind of like without rule of law. That could be
Right.
government collapses, which we're all pretty worried about. Could be a foreign invasion, which we're kind of worried about. But some situation where it's like it's on you to protect yourself, and there's absolutely no one coming to save you.
Right. So, for any of your viewers that may have taken our contractor classes, I think this class pairs very nicely with, say, small unit tactics, right? Small unit tactics, we may be doing primarily breaking contact drills. We do like an hour or two on patrolling. This could take that stuff to the next level. I think there's definitely a value in it, especially some of the folks who come to contractor class are looking to use that for protection of their mutual assistance groups or whatever it is that they have back home, their crew. And you kind of went in a bit deeper than we do on that. Like we stick to, hey, you're in a small unit, you're on patrol, you get ambushed, here's what to do, right? Where like the planning the patrol piece and doing recon patrols before doing security patrols and things of that nature, I thought were really cool and beneficial in this class.
Good,
Yeah,
excellent.
agreed.
Yeah, it's it, like, you know, you can't just take this and be totally ready, right? 'Cause there's no shooting
no
involved.
class, and there's no class that you can like. You can't cram a lifetime of learning that needs to take place into 5 days, much less 2 days.
No, you can do it. You know, you can do it in about 2 hours. Just watch the video,
Right.
And then it tells you things to buy, and then you in your basement, you do your quick draws, and you
Yes.
do your immediate action
You're right.
things,
You're
and then
right.
you're good to go.
I forgot.
Come on.
Yeah. Yep. Just
Right.
Netflix, the entire
Exactly.
the Bourne series.
No, not
and
Bourne. You know,
yeah,
no. I mean, there's
John
better ones.
Wick?
No, not John Wick. What's the one with
James Bond.
No, not James Bond.
Look, if you've watched Red Dawn, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you watch Red Dawn, especially if you were in the movie theater when it premiered,
Yeah.
then you obviously are ready to go. But all joking aside, like it's another tool. Like, okay, so you know how to peel, you know how to bound, you know how to shoot your gun, you know how not to shoot the people that are around you. Great. Now you have to move through the woods. How do you do that?
And
What do you do?
I will say, like, the final exercise, like they were moving super quiet.
And
Like,
and last night, this fucker sends us out into the woods in pitch black. And when I say pitch black, I mean pitch black.
Yeah. That was fun. That was
That
really
was
cool.
awesome.
Cool part of the class.
good. I'm glad you like it.
It was really cool seeing the team that we had in the class be able to gel over 2 days. Usually, like, that's one of my favorite parts of our contractor classes is seeing how far people can get in 5 days. Because, like, Tim and Jay will talk about it, like, you know, in the military, we did it on a whiteboard for weeks. And then we did it dry for weeks, you know. And so in a matter of 2 days, what people were able to learn and apply in the class, I think was pretty remarkable.
Well, one thing I'll say is, like, the students were great. It was extremely humbling.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we were there.
Well, it was extremely humbling having, like, tactical response alumni,
Big sexy
and tactical response instructors there. Like,
Yeah.
Lewis was there at my fighting pistol class, my first one, right? And so being able to have, like, switched on guys, and they're setting the example, and all the other students were very switched on. I think the 18-year-old Patrick, it was his very first class, and I'm very jealous, you know.
Oh my god.
That he's getting into this so
He
early.
lives, Patrick, if you're watching this and you don't sign up for Fighting Pistol, the next time I come down here, we're going to find you and we're going to bring you. And it's not going to be nice. There's going to be chloroform involved, duct tape, and Tim. So, therefore, I'm telling you now, do it of your own accord. I don't want to have to kidnap you. It'll happen.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
I think he does want to.
I'm okay. I want to practice on somebody before I try the ex-wife. But anyway, so the point is that he lives 40 minutes that way and he's 18 years old. I don't think anyone at that age can understand what an advantage that is to what he has dipped his toe into. And I think that this was a great way to not completely blow him to the point where his ego is completely killed and he has no confidence left. It was enough that it got the interest going, and hopefully he wants to do more and learn more and get his ego killed. Because, my personal opinion, the one thing that this whole thing revolves around for me is cutting the fucking head off of my ego and killing that motherfucker. Because it's good for nothing.
Yeah, ego seldom teaches us anything.
Yeah.
We can't really learn from ego.
But
But,
back. So back. Go ahead.
At the same time, don't humble yourself to death.
No, it's not. It's not a humble myself to death. But like,
Yeah.
I want to go into every class as a blank of a slate as I can, so that I can absorb as much as I can, and then in my own time, kind of decide what I'm going to take, what I'm going to keep. There's always something.
See, and I go into every class with a completely open mind as to why I'm right and the instructor's wrong.
Right.
Right? So I'm completely open-minded to find those reasons.
And if you didn't get the joke in there, then I don't know what to tell you.
No.
But taking it back to the class. So in 2 days, we learned a mountain of things.
Great course packet.
Yes.
Great handout.
Yes.
That goes along with the class. That's,
Except for the guy that was in the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it so that you can refer back to this stuff.
Yes.
Like you should take a lot of notes during a class. I was talking to Max on the ride over, and I was like, man, if we would have stayed in the classroom the entire time, I would have been a happy student.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. 'Cause
At no point was I thinking to myself, when the fuck are we going to get outside?
it's rough doing a class on a whiteboard, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, because you're like, I'm like, man, I really want to put these guys in the woods right now, man. I really want to do
No,
this.
dude.
Yeah.
No, it was like there was a lot of learning that happened
Yep.
there.
Okay.
And again, we all look at classes through our own lenses, right? So, like, I might be thinking, like, yeah, you know, I've done the peels. We're good. I'm gonna keep my muzzle right. You know what I mean? So it's really good that you do all of that. Because someone like Patrick, who this was his first rifle class ever,
Yeah.
like we get to, or you got to teach him some of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like using his rifle in a team setting. So like it's essential to get out there, but the value in the classroom portion
Yes.
was tremendous.
So, and also, like, along with that, I think for him, he basically got to drive practice around people a bunch.
Oh,
So
yeah.
therefore, he's got to have a
And-
better appreciation of firearm safety than someone
Yes.
who shot 1,000,000 rounds this year.
And
Right.
I noticed, I'm sure you did too, but I noticed that his comfort level with having a rifle in his hands went through the roof. Even at the end of day one. You know what I mean? It got to the point where he wasn't thinking about it.
And
It was just happening.
one note too, like if you don't already know, this class we don't even shoot in it. There's
Right.
parts where we yell bang bang bang, and that's kind of because like that way we can do it anywhere, and as long as we have a safe direction to point that gun, you know, we're good. But that's why I say like you want to do something like the contractor class. I want to bring a live fire class that's like just the IA drills, just the battle drills in the class. But it's like this class is more about, like you said, the planning process than the moving and the communicating.
Right.
Even the final exercise, like, you know, it pretty much was like an hour before
Yeah.
anything happened, you know. But they moved super well. When they needed to stop, they stopped. When they needed to change direction, they figured it out. And it was on them. Like the final exercise,
Being in charge sucks.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
basically, we just left it
Yeah.
on them to choose their leadership, come up with a plan,
Here's the problem.
and execute.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
Fix
You
it.
are a group. You are a group, and here's your problem.
Yes.
And we have
Yes.
given you the tools to be able to fix that problem.
And one of the benefits of doing something like this or like contractor would be that you get to work with people, strangers. You know,
Yep.
you've known them for a day and a half, and Now you guys have to problem solve. I hate teamwork. Like, I hate it. Because of every job I've ever worked, just dumb stuff happens and
People suck.
yeah, and it's rough. But at the same time, you gotta be capable of doing it, and you gotta be able to step up, and you gotta be able to follow. So
Well, I
they
think
did
like
that
I
very
think
well.
like we all know, people that are willing to pay money, travel, and seek out the training are always going to be superior to someone where it's their job and they have to do it. Doesn't mean that people that do it for a job don't do it well. But when you're in an environment, a group of people, and everyone there wants to be there, otherwise they wouldn't be there.
It's the difference between a chef and a cook.
Yes.
One wants to be there.
Yes.
And that also says a lot to the point of in the military we do this for weeks on a whiteboard or weeks in a classroom before we go out there and do it, and then we do it for weeks and weeks before we ever had ammo. And it's like a big part of that also is because you guys want to be here. When I was in the Marine Corps, as Jacob from the Preppers Bunker Outdoors would say, is like in the military, it's like one instructor for every 50, service members, and that instructor wants to go home and get drunk, and those 50 dudes want to go home and get drunk, right? Yeah. So it's like they're working, they don't really want to be there, but that's why I love doing this with you guys. I spoke a lot on that at the end. I'm sure Lewis feels the exact same way.
He started crying and bubbling.
No.
His head was down. We had to get him tissues, and then we got him a little fuzzy animal so he could hold it and squeeze it.
That's kind of a lie. It wasn't tissues. It was toilet paper.
You're right. Yeah, right. Yeah. We had tissues. That's a little highbrow for Camden.
Yeah.
So the point of this whole thing, guys, is that this is a class. It's just like fighting pistol. You can have that much experience, take the class, and get something out of it. More than likely, get a lot out of it. And let's say you're that person that has a group that they routinely do things with, even if it's something as simple as it's your poker buddies, and you know them, and you trust them, and you've all been talking about it. Like this is the kind of thing that I think, even if you aren't gun guys on a whole, I think getting a group together, putting them under stress, and having them work towards a task is only going to make that bond stronger.
Yeah.
So, from what I understand, you can even customize this class if someone, say, has a property or has a mag. God, what a horrible word, mag. Like you're willing to customize it and work it for them. So how would they reach out to you?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on my website. I'm gonna do some calculations. I'm gonna work out with Jay, and we're gonna figure out what states we can go do it in, and we'll
hold on, time out. I'm gonna do we're in his place. I'm gonna do what he would do.
Huh.
You go to the states. You go anywhere. It just may cost more to get you to certain places.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna calculate.
All right. Because you said what states we might go to.
Oh, I'm not going to some states, but anyways, the thing is that it costs more to travel someplace, so we'll figure out a dollar amount to go there, and that will cover X number of students, and then there'll be a price for each additional student. So that could be your homestead, your property.
So
as long as we can walk around with guns, we're good.
What you need to do is reach out to Andrew, combatarttraining.com. There's going to be a link below in the description, so you can easily find him. And there are very few places that I would feel comfortable dropping my wife off and saying, go ahead, honey, and learn to handle a gun. It may not be the smartest idea for my health, but still, there are very few places that I'd be willing to do that. And these two people represent two companies that I have 100% confidence in doing that. So you should too. Now, more than likely, you're already a you're already a student, or at least you're actively, interacting with them on social media and things like that. Go take a fucking class.
Yeah. This is a tip of the iceberg exploration.
Yes.
Right? For a lot of people who may have a bunch of classes under their belt, this class, and I mean, I've got a lot of contractor classes under my belt, but the thoughts provoked in this class, it's like, hey, check out this rabbit hole. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So-
one of those things where it's like I say, when you take a good class, it's like you go in thinking you knew all this, you realize you kind of knew more like that, and there's all this left to learn. You know, whenever you take a good class, you'll find out stuff about that. Like when I did Red Dot Pistol at Dawn, holy smokes, the stuff that was not about Red Dot Pistol that he would talk about on breaks and learning history within the training community and stuff like that blew my mind.
And if you get lucky enough that him and Jay are both able to be there, you know, and it works with both schedules, so they're both there teaching the class. If you don't know who Jay Gibson is, you need to fix that shit. Because there is a man that has gone and done the things. He is also probably the least bragging person that I have ever met in my entire fucking life. Because when you ask him about what he had, yeah, you know, I was a Marine, and and then I went overseas and did some stuff, and yep, that's about it. You know, and this is a guy that has gone and done the things. And getting an opportunity to train with someone like Clint Smith, like any of these people, it absolutely is a privilege, and it's something that means something to me. And if you're on this path, it should mean something for you too. So guys, come train with Andrew from Combat Art Training. Come train with Lewis from Tactical Response. They are amazing people. They are amazing instructors. I cannot say enough good things. And again, there's going to be some stuff down in the descriptions. Check them out. And remember, guys, your path is out there. Go find it.